Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Down Under Mastermind call for 28th of April. And tonight on our call we have Megan from Mega Mentors. A mouthful. How are you, Megan?
I'm good. It's not that much of a mouthful, is it?
Probably not.
It's funny because you're not the first person to stumble on it.
Yeah. So I'll hand the controls over to you and let you go for it. Or you can probably, you're doing a presentation with slides, is it?
I am doing a presentation with slides. So disclaimer, first webinar I've done with slides. So
oh, you'll be fine. You've probably got
I'm sure it's not much different than in person.
You've got a share screen button at the bottom.
I do. No, that's fine. So it's good to see so many here. It's awesome.
Well, with such attraction, they come.
Okay. No pressure.
Not at all.
Well, yeah, I'm really excited to share some of what we've been sharing with some of our clients over the last couple of weeks, or a couple of months actually, but more specifically the last couple of weeks. I've put together some slides that we've been getting some really good feedback on. And obviously our clients are local businesses. So, you know, their content is, I've adjusted it so that it's more fitting for more of what we do online. But I think you'll get, hopefully you'll get a lot of value out of it. So it's not too loud, is it? Brett's just finishing something off in the kitchen. Okay, cool. Just checking. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. And if I can ask at the end, if you've got any feedback, I would love it, because we're literally about to start kicking off some webinars with our clients, with our regular clients that we have. So I'm really grateful to be given the opportunity to have a practice with my peeps. So thank you. Yay. No, it's awesome. All right. So just going to share. Can you all see that?
Yep, it's good.
Sweet. So I don't know if you can still see me, but I'm thinking, do you want me to leave my video on, Robbie, or?
Yeah, no, I can see you on the other screen, so
okay.
It won't appear on your slide presentation, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. No, that's all right. I'm just trying to, okay. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to share tonight is basically how to manage the content on your Facebook page, on your business page. So I'm sure everyone knows the difference between a profile and a page. You'd be amazed that some people don't. So I am going to explain it, and if you do know, that's great. But basically your profile is your personal profile. So that's where you share all your personal, your personal shares with your family and the friends that you have on Facebook. And what we're going to be talking about is your business page. So it's a page that you create for your business, and just how to manage the content on there. I find that a lot of people that I speak with, they don't necessarily know what to share as a business, and how to get content. How to get people to actually engage with their content is something that they struggle with. So I'm going to share a little bit about what we've been up to, because if you are friends with us on Facebook, you've probably seen a lot of these types of photos going around. And basically what we've been doing over the last 6 months is we've been holding workshops for local businesses, as I said. Some of them are online businesses, but most of them are, just your normal everyday people out there who are trying to make Facebook work for them, or make social media work for them. We're not teaching marketing or advertising, because quite frankly, if they want to learn that, the best place for them to do that obviously will be SFM. So we already have people and content for them to access there. So we're talking to people literally about what I'm going to talk to you about tonight, which is how to communicate effectively with an audience and actually get them to interact and engage with you and get followers, which, you know, for a local business that it eventually turns into customers, and it's not really any different for us. If people are going to, you know, sign up and follow us, then they need to have some sort of relationship or connection. So when I say relationship during this presentation, I'm more meaning the connection that you're building with the people that are following, because it is a relationship in and of itself. So we're all good at doing it face to face. And that's obviously what you can see in these photos. So getting people in a room and actually building a relationship with our clients is what we've been doing in our workshops. But essentially, it's actually not that much different online. And that's pretty much the message that we drive home with them, which is whatever you do in person, you need to be able to do that on social media, because social media is just one big conversation that's going on constantly. So it's about trying to fit in with that conversation and obviously get people to you know, converse with you. So we've hold some workshops. The bottom right is actually a meetup group that we've started, where we basically get people together once every fortnight around about, who are interested in learning more about standing out online. And most of them are business owners. Actually, all of them are business owners. And yeah, we just literally share nuggets of gold information each week, and we get a speaker in to talk about something in particular. But what is really cool is we're also getting these people to come and follow us on social media and continue that conversation. So essentially, they're learning how to take that conversation from that room and continue it online, and then obviously do that within their businesses as well. So I hope that makes sense. And obviously you can all ask me questions at the end. But here's what's happening. This is a trade show that we did last week. So we actually had a trade table at this expo, and we had people coming up and chatting to us about, you know, learning more about how to use social media for their business, and we were promoting our workshops. So just threw that one in there as well. But essentially, what we're finding is happening is that we're creating a presence on social media locally. We're becoming an authority in what we do, basically because of the content that we're sharing, online and offline. And that's what we need to talk to you guys about tonight, is how you can do that with the people that are following you. So we have a philosophy. I know our Mega Media Mentors is the mouthful, Robbie. But there is actually quite a bit of thought that's gone into that name, into that branding. So obviously it's my name without the N, and that was kind of where it started. We literally didn't know what to call ourselves, and we just thought, well, we want to get mega results for people, so that kind of fits, right? But here's how it's evolved over the last 12 months. We just had our 12-month birthday about 3 or 4 weeks ago, which was pretty cool. We made it through the first year. So basically, yay! Basically, if you look at the word mega, we have a bit of an acronym that we talk about, and it really explains what we are trying to help people do online. I think you'll relate to it a lot. The first one is manage, M for manage. And what are you managing? Well, you're managing obviously like the content and your pages and all that kind of thing, but the biggest thing you got to manage is your time. So you're managing your time that you're spending online, you're managing the time that you spend in your business. It's all about managing it. So that's what the M stands for in our mega. The second thing is engage, so E for engage. So we want to be engaging, we're going to want to get engagement, and we need to build relationships and connections, like I said before. So that's what we mean when we say engage, and remembering that social media is social, so we need to get those connections and start that conversation. And the G is the give, so we want to give massive value. So on social media, if you want to stand out, Facebook particularly, so much noise. The best way to stand out is to just be out there providing massive value, as much value as you can. And we know that Stuart talks about that as well. And Jay, you know, your income is a byproduct of the value that you provide. So the more value you provide, the more obviously that's going to transpose into income. And then the biggest one, and if I could flip it around, I would say this one first, but it's the last letter, so it's last, but is to be authentic. So you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. And I think especially for when you're new online, you feel like you don't really have a profile, you don't really have much happening on your business page because it's a new page obviously, but even you're just yourself, if you haven't done anything online before, how do you kind of portray what you want to portray and have people obviously follow you and sign up and all that kind of stuff? And in my experience over the last 12 months, it's been a little bit, it was nerve-wracking. The first couple of months, people wanted to know what my background was. They wanted to know what experience I had. And I literally used to say to people, I have just got started. I know, you know, a little bit. I know more than you know, so I can help you get to where I'm at, and then we can work together from there. And I literally have just been really, really authentic about where I've been at. And I think it's served me really, really well. So on social media, you need to be authentic for a few reasons. One, if that person gets to meet you, for local businesses, when I'm talking to them, if they find you online and then they come into your store or they become a customer and you're not what you are portraying online, then that's really, really not going to work for you. And I think that for us doing the affiliate marketing and that kind of thing, it's really, really easy to fall into the trap of trying to be something that you're not. And unfortunately, you might think you're hiding behind the screen, but it does show. It just does. Like, it just pays to be yourself and not compare yourself to anyone else. So this is our mega philosophy, and this is kind of the message that we drive home through everything that we do. So I hope that you got some value out of that. The big thing is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I think if you start thinking about the content and the message that you're sharing on Facebook, you need to really start thinking about this line. It's just something that I really, really feel is important, because people, as I said, if you're not authentic, they see it. But if you're not sharing why you're doing what you're doing, people aren't going to start believing what you believe. And that's when people actually take action and buy from you, is when they relate to you, or they, you know, the why that you have and the purpose that you have for doing what you do is actually what people, you know, emotionally latch onto, and people buy with their emotions. I hope that makes sense. I can't ask you. I just got to keep talking. So why do we do what we do? These are our free little gems. They're all growing up really fast, but we started our online business to spend more time with our family. And even though we have a business now where we're teaching people how to use social media and how to grow their following, we still talk about why we do what we do. And the reason that we're passionate about helping businesses with their social media, and one particular thing is the management of it, the managing their time, is because we want them to have more time as well. So our why essentially becomes like their why if they're the right customer for us, because they want to be spending more time on business. They want to be spending more time with doing the things that they love. Usually people start a business because they like what they do. They don't want to be becoming a social media guru. So, you know, even though we have this business that it doesn't actually look like our why, it actually is. And all the content that we put out and when we're talking to people, they can see this through that content, if that makes sense, through that message that comes through a lot. We also like to travel. So obviously, being that we have a business that is online, we can travel. This is one of our favorite days to date. You know, we want to build connections with people online. We want to build connections with people all around the world, and that's why we do what we do. So it's really important that people see that coming through in your content. So again, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And the way that to to get people to understand that is by your story. So by telling your story, people connect with you. So how do you do that? How do you do that with your content? How do you do that with your business page? That's the question that we're going to answer now. So essentially, what you need to do from there is to understand your audience. Now, when I first got started with the SFM, when we got started with the SFM, it's like just over 18 months. Oh, I don't even remember now. Anyway, late 2014. Time is flying. This is something that I really struggled with, to be honest. Really getting to know our audience, and I worked a lot with, I was lucky enough to come in under Marie Santos, and I don't know if she's on the call, probably not, but
No.
no, she's not, but she was trying to drive this home to me over and over again, like, who's your audience, who's your audience, who's your audience? And she has a really good worksheet in the back, which I've done many times, in the back of the files on the Down Under group, so you can go and find it. It's a customer avatar. I highly recommend going through that. In fact, I take our clients through a similar exercise in our workshops to really start to understand their audience, because as much as you need to know what your message is, you need to know who your message is for. And one of the things that you'll find is the more you get to know your audience, the easier creating content for them is. So you've really got to start to understand them. The one thing you want to talk about, I want to think about as well, is what are they talking about on Facebook? Because essentially, I know you're going to tell, I'm saying you're going to tell your story, but you've got to be interested in them, and you've got to make it interesting for them. So it's a bit of a catch-22. It isn't about you, it's about your audience. So they need to get to know you, but you need to know them. So things like, who are they, first of all? There's a lot of different types of audience. And you get to pick who they are. You get to pick who you want to target, who you want to work with. But you need to understand who they are. So what do they want the most in life? And what's the most important to them? Because they're the things that they're going to relate to. Yeah? And 9 times out of 10, your audience is probably going to be someone similar to you. Just like I said before, our audience for our Mega Media business, their why is very similar to ours. They know they need to be on social media, and they know they need to use it. They either don't have time or don't understand it, and they would rather be in their business, right? So I would rather be with my family, similar why. So you really find that your audience is going to be similar to you. So if you get stuck, you can just target people like you, and it's a really good way. And then you can start to profile out another type of customer if you want to go on from there. But the big thing is you want to think about what problems are they having and how you can solve them. So obviously you're not going to solve them like yourself with your own 2 hands, but you're going to provide information and solutions and that kind of stuff through the content that you share. So that's where you really want to start thinking about what kind of problems they're having in their life, that you can share content that they're going to go, it's going to open their mind up a little bit, and they're going to start listening to you, and they're going to start that conversation with them. So I saw this quote about a month ago, and I started including it in our workshops, and it's so great. It's, if you can describe someone's problem and their pain better than they can describe it themselves, they will automatically assume you have the answer to their problem. So if that's the case, you can see why knowing your audience really well is really valuable to you, because that way you can literally feed that back to them through your content, and they will start to listen to you, and they will start to start to pay attention to what you're offering, if that makes sense. So why do people hang out on Facebook? Really, like, they don't really go and hang out on Facebook to join anything or buy anything. They're there to be social. They're there to share with their family and friends. They're there to follow things they're interested in. And your business page, you have to learn to be social there as well. So you want to fit into that conversation. And I'm all leading into now, like obviously creating that content, but this is the most important part, and it's the part people miss. So if you don't do everything that I've just told you up until now, the next part that we're going to go through, which is creating the content, it will be while you're struggling because you haven't done your homework first. So what we've just gone through now is what I call communication, a communication strategy. So it's looking at defining all those things, and then we're going to transfer that now into what I call content strategy, which is where you're going to start communicating that message through that. So managing your content. So we're going to talk about how to decide what to post, how you can source great content, how you can create great content, how you can reuse your content, and then how to track what's working so you can do more of that, because that's really important as well. You can be putting all this stuff out there, but if you don't know what's actually working, then you're not going to know. And there's a few things that you're going to look at to determine whether it's working. It's not just going to be whether people are liking it. There's going to be a few things you're going to look at. So I'm going to go into these. Robbie, do you know how I can actually close these cameras down the bottom here? On the side, sorry, because I can't see what's under it.
You can probably move it.
I just can't, because my screen's black, I think. Oh, here we go.
You've got the options up the top.
Yeah, I just can't see them. Okay, it's all right. I know what I've written there anyway. Okay, so again, what's your audience interested in? So the first thing you want to do after you've worked out who they are is sit down and just make a big list of as many interests and topics as you can think of. You can go and look at the things that they're reading on social media, write down the things that they're reading, the things that they're sharing, topics that relate though to what it is that you are doing. So obviously we're an online business, but it doesn't have to be content about online business. It's just topics that relate back to that. And also, these could be problems that they're having that you're going to solve for them. As I said before, I know that I'm repeating myself, but I could say it about 50 times and we'd still have this conversation probably again at some point, because as I said, most people don't do enough of this. You just need to go as deep as you can. The deeper you go and the more time you spend on this, and I'm saying it from experience, like I said, this is why we struggled at the beginning, is because we didn't spend enough time really getting as many things down as possible. So then what I would suggest is setting up some categories of content. Now, Stuart talks about this with blogging as well. So he uses these 5 examples here. I'm actually going to grab the little mouse up the top. Go back. So he talks about the 5 different categories. So educational, informational, inspirational, entertaining and promotional being only 20%. And that also applies for social media. Only want to be sharing promotional content on your business page 20% or less of the time. Most of the time you want to be sharing other things and really, like I said, being social. So decide what categories you're going to use, and if you can't think of any, then just use those 5, because those 5 are fine and they're great. And then look at what types of content you could create for each category. So what I mean by that is in the educational, just say for instance in the educational category, you could create a blog post, you could create a visual, you could create when I say a visual, I mean an image or a quote, like an image with writing over it. You could create an infographic, you could create a video, you could create so many things. There's so many different types of content for each category. So if you break it down into the different types as well, then you can start looking at, fulfilling those. So write it all down because you can refer back to it. And the other thing I would suggest, and this is major because this changed everything for us. When we got started with our business originally 12 months ago, we were managing content for other people. So we had to come up with a system. And that's now what we're sharing with our clients, and I'm sharing some of it with you now. So what I would suggest is to set up a folder on your computer for each category. And I'll tell you why as we go along. But you just literally make a folder on your desktop for each one of those categories that I've mentioned there, informational, promotional, entertaining, whatever, so that you can store your content in them. All right, so definitely do that. And then you want to start doing some research. So we haven't even started posting yet. So you can see, like, if you're struggling and you haven't done any of this, that's why, because most people sit down at the computer, open their Facebook page and go, crap, what am I going to post? And then you start trying to find stuff, and that just is a nightmare and a time suck. So if you do this, even though it is a bit of work, it's actually going to save you a stack of time in the long run. So you want to start doing some research, and obviously some of these are obvious, I know, but Google search the interests. So you've just written a big list of interests down. You've just written a big list of problems down. You literally just want to type those phrases, those sentences into Google, and you'll start coming up with blogs and websites and things that are going to be either answering those questions or talking about those topics. And you can just literally either bookmark them, or if they've got an RSS feed, you can sign up to that. So an RSS feed is just basically the content that that website puts out. It's going to get fed back to you. So I'm not very good at explaining that one, but anyway, that's what an RSS feed basically does. It's the rich site summary of that website. So if you actually subscribe to it, it will actually get sent back to you. So you can do the same with Facebook Graph Search. They've changed it a little bit, so it's not as good as it used to be, but you can search for popular pages, you can search for those topics and interests. It will bring up pages, it will bring up posts that have been posted or things that are that have been linked back to that topic, and you can start following those pages, liking those pages. You can also create lists in Facebook, which is really helpful. You can find key influencers that your audience would follow, and you could write those down, but you can also obviously follow them. The other thing that's really good to do, and this is something that I've done, is you can start a new email address in Gmail and sign up, just use this email address just for this, sign up to newsletters, or people subscribe to newsletters of people that are key influencers that your audience would follow, and just get on their mailing list, because they're going to send you content. That if they're doing a good job, they're probably the ones you want to follow, the ones that are doing a good job. They're going to send out content every week, and you can learn from them, and you can see what your audience is reading, and you can then go and obviously create content or share that content. As long as they're not direct competitors of yours, you can literally share their content straight from their website. So you can make a long list of places to either share content from, or you can, as I said, create content of your own that's based on what you find. So that's a little bit of homework. And then, yeah, subscribe to email lists, as I just said, follow RSS feeds, join pages, and the other thing is you can join groups that your audience interact in. So that's a really good thing to do, because what you can do is start interacting with your audience. So you can get involved in the conversations that are already happening and start providing either definitely some value, but even just, getting to know them and getting to know what sort of things they're asking, or sort of things that they're interested in or struggling with, or all those things that we talked about before. You could subscribe to YouTube channels. That's a really good way to source video content that you can share. All of the above. It's all a good way to keep an eye on what's hot in your niche as well. So you really want to keep your finger on the pulse. So this kills two birds with one stone. Sorry, I know we don't kill birds. But you're literally keeping an eye on what's hot, and you're researching content that you can share. So, it's a really good way to do both. Now, the other thing you can do when you find things that you want to share, I recommend, even if you're sharing them straight away, remember those folders that we talked about? what you want to do is you want to save those links over into your folder. So if it's an educational, an educational article that you found or whatever, or if it's something that you're sharing from these people, put it in the appropriate folder, okay? Because you can be able to reuse it later, or you'll be able to curate from it later. So it's just a good way to store your content, because what happens is you'll go and post it and then it'll be forever down the page and you'll be like trying to find it. It's just a really easy way to come back to and keep everything together. So this is one of my favorite tools. It's called Feedly. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it is fabulous. Basically, it is, I was talking about those RSS feeds before, hence the name Feedly. So it allows you to choose content that you want to follow, and it feeds that content into your Feedly account every day. So every day you could log into your Feedly account, all the different RSS feeds, all the different blogs, the different people that you want to follow, anything that they upload gets refreshed in your Feedly account every day. It is so cool. You can literally just type in marketing, or you can type in lifestyle or photography or whatever it is, and it'll just bring up all the blogs, all the websites that have content about that subject. And you can see how many people are following it, so you can see whether it's popular. It's fabulous. It's a free tool as well. So yeah, highly recommend it. And there's a phone app, which is really cool. So I like to do things on the go. I have a lovely big brick now. The phones are getting bigger. They were getting smaller. But it's great because I can do a lot of this stuff from my phone. And Feedly is great because, as I said, there's a phone app. So you can source content right from your mobile. If you wanted to, you could upload your content folders that I was talking about before. You could upload them into Google Docs, and you can share stuff straight over into those folders to share later onto your social media. So the other thing is that you can share directly to Facebook from inside Feedly as well, and Twitter. So you don't even have to, keep it if you don't want to. But I recommend, as I said, storing anything that you do share, because that way you've got a record of it for reuse. I hope you like that one. That's a really cool one. There's heaps of others. I just find that this one's the one that I like the best. So creating content, and not just creating content, but creating content efficiently. So you could create content all day long and spend hours and hours and hours, or you can do it a bit strategically. And this is something that, as I said, my why is saving time. So I'm all about saving time. So any little hacks or things that I find that save me a lot of time, I'm all for sharing. So obviously creating contents, I'm talking visual contents like your images, your videos, your blog posts, your articles. Obviously you want to be obviously putting out your own content, not just sharing other people's content all the time. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is repurposing your previously shared content, which is why I want you to store it so that you can come back as long as it's still relevant, obviously, and reshare it. So I use Canva. There's a heap of tools out there on the market that you can create visuals with. I've just been using Canva from day one, and I've got really savvy with it now. I love it. It's like Photoshop for people that don't have Photoshop. It literally does pretty much everything that Photoshop can do, bar some of those really fancy things, the shading and stuff like that. But if you want to create a visual like the one you can see there on the screen, it is drag and drop. If you do the paid version of Canva, it's about $12.95 a month. You can actually upload all of your brand assets in there. You can preset all the, when I say brand assets, I mean your logos, things like that. You can upload your own fonts in there if you've got a particular font that you like to use. You can also preset all the font sizes and the font types for the different headings, and you can preset all your colors. So you can literally come in and create a visual like that in about 5 minutes and download it to your computer. It's really, really cool. Now, I could show you how to use it, but they have an amazing tool called Design School. It's up on the top left. You'll see a tab that says Design School. And in there, they have a tutorial video for absolutely everything you can do on Canva. So it is absolutely awesome. The best way to start, I found, and I recommend, is just go in and decide what you want to make. Go into the design school and find the tutorial for that. Watch the video and then make it, and just start using it like that till you basically know how to do it all. But it is super, super, super cool. And the other great thing about it is you can see on the left there of that picture, they have predetermined templates. So you don't even have to come up with the design. You can literally just drag that or click on it and then just change the text and change the image out. So they also have free photos that you can share on social media. So that's another thing you've got to be mindful of, is making sure that you have permission to use the pictures. So inside of Canva, they have a range of photos for free, and they have a tab of free photos, but then they also have over 1 million images in there. And most of them are $1, just over $1 US. So that's really, really cool as well, because it is a bit of a concern. It's like, where do you get photos from? And unless you want to go and sign up to Shutterstock or somewhere like that, you know, where it's $49, $50 a month sometimes, Canva, you can just buy them as you need them. So that's really cool. So yeah, love that tool. This is another one that I've just found. Now, I'm not savvy with it yet, but it is super, super cool for people that have no design skills whatsoever. If you go, I don't know how people make things look so pretty because mine don't look like that, then you will love this tool. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but basically what it does is, and if I could probably do a screen share, but I'd be embarrassed because I haven't actually figured out how to use this properly and mine aren't looking that great. I only found this about 3 weeks ago, but what it does is you upload, again, all of your brand assets, so your logo, your colours, you preset all your colours. You can upload or type in there quotes, things that you want to use, images. There's a section where you just literally upload everything into it, and then you click create, and it will go and it will create for you absolutely everything you can possibly think of that you would want to share visually. So I'm talking Facebook cover photos, infographics, I'm talking quotes over images. If you wanted to do an ebook cover, it will create that for you. And you only have to put all this stuff in one time. It's super, super cool. It's not free. I think it's about $10 a month. But yeah, it's brilliant. And then you can schedule stuff straight out of it as well. It's really, really cool. So I recommend checking that one out. Some of the mobile apps that I really like for content creation are these ones. So again, there is so many to choose from, but these are great for different things. So WordSwag, I don't know if you've come across that one, but it also has free images inside of it so that you can create your quotes over your images and things like that. So you can pick your image and then pick your font, and away you go. Photor is really good for collages, and they do have a desktop version as well, but it's also really good. Adobe Post is a paid one, so it's about $4, I think, but it's put out by Adobe, so it is really, really cool, and it has some really good filters and things like that, but it does a little bit more than some of the other apps do. It's a bit like Canva for mobile, so you can do a heap of things inside of that app, which is really cool. I don't know if everyone's using Instagram or not, but the Giant Square is a favourite of mine. It's a bit of a, yeah, it's really, really cool because you can actually, if you can see in the picture there, the lady with the hat, you can actually upload a big photo and it will cut it into 9. And when it comes up in your Instagram feed, it looks like one big picture. It's really, really cool. So it also has some things for Facebook. So you can create some collaged Facebook cover photos. So that's the cover that goes across the top, and it makes it look really, really, really professional. So that's a really good one. This is a new one I've come across for videos. So video is really, really hot, obviously everywhere at the moment, but if you wanted to edit videos on your phone, Video Clips is awesome. It blends the videos together so that they look like you've done it. It looks like you've literally done it in iMovie. It is super, super cool. You can put music over it, all that kind of thing. And you can actually buy the music inside of the app or use music of your own. And then there's Flipagram, which you probably have seen before, which is great for doing slideshows. So this is a little content hack that I was talking about before. So I'm always up for things that are going to save time, like I said. So what you want to do is think strategically about how you're creating this, because obviously you could sit there and create a quote, and then you could sit there and create a video, and then you could write a blog post, and you could do all this content creation. Or you could look at it a little bit differently. So one thing you could do, pick a topic from one of your content categories, and then you can think about the different ways and the different types of content that you can create with that one idea. So think of an idea, Robbie. I don't know, like let's just think of, why, I've gone blank. I had one all planned and I've just gone blank. That's why I asked you to think of one. Anyway, go. What's one topic that you would post for your audience, or you would create content for your audience?
How to get traffic to a website.
Something they would relate to.
Right. How to get people to follow you on Facebook. Okay,
all right, good. So we think strategically about that one idea, that one piece, that one type of that one topic, I should say. We're going to look at the different types of content we could create. And then we're going to create it in such a way that we can repurpose it. And I'll show you in a minute. I've got an example. So my example is, we could do a video, okay, talking about exactly that. So if you were to shoot a video, and you could do a live video if you want, because live video is on Facebook now and you can save it to your phone. But if you were to shoot a video talking about how to get people to follow you on Facebook, right? It could be five minutes, say. You could talk as long as you like, really. You could then get that, transcribe it into words, and it becomes a blog. So you've got two pieces of content from that one thing that you've done. So then you could put it up on your blog, obviously. You could email a portion of that blog to your list with a read more button and link it back to your website so they could read the blog. So that's a third piece of content, which is the email. You could post the blog on, post the video on Facebook, and then you could post it on YouTube. And I recommend posting it on Facebook, not putting it on YouTube and sending the link back. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail why that is. So that becomes another two pieces of content. So I don't know, I'm not adding it up. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it ends up being about 24 by the end from this one thing. So post the video on Facebook, post the video on YouTube. You could post the blog post later on Facebook. So that becomes another piece of content. So you could then break the content that you shared, that content, that idea, that talk that you did. You could break it up into smaller topics, and then you could make an image or an infographic about those topics. So say you did 5 ways or 6 ways to get people to follow you on Facebook. You could do 6 micro pieces of micro topics about that one thing, right? So you're following, that's a lot of pieces of topics so far. Then you could also tweet those smaller topics onto Twitter with a link back to your website where they can read the whole blog or watch the video. You could create an infographic with that information, and you could use that infographic as the blog image. You could put that infographic on every, wherever you are on social media. So Pinterest is really good for infographics, and you'll have that link back to your website or back to your Facebook page or wherever it is you want to link them back to. Yeah, so you can see from that one video, just by thinking about it strategically, how many pieces of content you could create from that one piece, that one topic. And that's what I mean when I say creating your content strategically, because if you did the blog post first, then you have to go and, you know, do the video, whatever. So it's just about kind of thinking it out first, looking at that idea and going, okay, where is this going to end up and how can I make it into more content? And obviously, even though it's the same information, not everyone is going to see it, every piece of it that you put out. Some people will see it over here, some people will see it over there. So it's just a matter of looking at it that way as well. So another really great tip as well is to create your visual content in batches. So what I mean by that is, say you're going to go into Canva or onto your phone app or wherever it is that you're doing, and you're going to create a image quote with a quote over the top, for instance. So you could come up with a few different quotes and you could create those visual content in batches. When you do that, you can also come up with a color scheme or a layout that matches your brand. So when people come across that content, they come across the next piece of content, they start to recognize you, and that brand awareness starts to come through from the content that you're creating. Because if you just create stuff willy-nilly, then, you know, it doesn't always look the same. So if you create it in batches with a bit of a plan, you save time, but you also have stuff ready to go. Every time you create something, we're going to put it into those folders that we created earlier. All right? We're not just going to go and save it somewhere, anywhere on the computer, or share it and then forget about it. We're going to put it in the folder as well, because we're going to talk next about repurposing and versus reposting. So there's the two different things. So reposting obviously is just re-sharing the same thing that you've already posted. Repurposing is what I was just talking about when I was talking about a video and making all the different types of content. So that's what repurposing is. So it's one post or one topic, but you've made it into different things. So what you can do is you can come back later and repurpose it in a different way. Say you have this really awesome article that you shared from someone in your niche or a key influencer or something. You can go into that folder, find that article, read it, and make a video about it and repurpose it that way. So you can put your own spin on it, that kind of things. If you've got it all in one place, it's really, really easy for you to repurpose it. Or repost it if it's still relevant, because the average life of a Facebook post, believe it or not, nowadays is 3 hours. So if someone hasn't been onto your Facebook page in 3 hours after you post, they're probably, if they're not on Facebook in the 3 hours when you post, they're probably not going to see it, because there's just that much stuff coming through Facebook all the time. That's just, yeah, it's like gone. And on Twitter, I think it's 24 minutes or something. It's probably less now. So that's assuming that they have been interacting with your Facebook page at all, because if they haven't, Facebook's algorithm is not even going to show it to them at all. So, so that's, you know, just something to think about when we talk about reposting or reusing content. You can reuse stuff that you used last week if you really wanted to, because it's probably, unless they saw it, it's probably, you know, long gone as far as, you know, what's getting shown in people's news feeds. Obviously, if they come across to your page and they scroll down, they'll see it again, but not everyone visits your page. Like, how often do you actually go over to a page and look at the stuff on the page? You just see it in your news feed, right? So if it doesn't come up in their news feed, like within that 3 hours, if they're not on there, they're not going to see it. So considering your audience isn't on there all day, you'd need to post at least 5 to 7 times a day for them to come across your content at all if they're interacting with you. It's huge. It's, you know, and the biggest thing is that people don't create enough content. So they're not putting enough out there, and then they're not consistent either. So it's not that necessarily that even that your content isn't good enough. It's maybe that you're not posting often enough or at the right times, and that you're not consistent. So unless you want to come up with 50 posts a week, or well over 200 posts a month, I would consider reusing your content. And therefore, what I was talking about, saving it in those folders so that it's accessible and easy to come back to, is a really, really good extra step to take when you're managing your Facebook page. So, so that's just a little bit there about repurposing. So you probably feel like that if you had to create that many posts every day, every week or every month. So yeah, definitely look at repurposing, guys. So what have I got under there? Oh yeah, tracking. I can't see for the top bar. So tracking your content and what's hot, what's working. Now, apologies for this screenshot because sometimes on Facebook the insights take forever to come up, and of course that happened to me today when I was trying to take this picture for you. But basically on your page, when you come across to your page, you'll see the insights tab across the top there, which I've clicked. And you can see here all the posts that you've published over, you know, a period of time. If you can go down and look at everything if you want to, you can bring them all up. You can look at what has been getting the most reactions, the most comments, the most reach. Definitely what you want to look at is the reach specifically, because that's going to determine the things that are getting the most impressions in the newsfeed. That's what reach stands for. So it's reaching more people. Obviously you'll see paid in there as well, but we're just going to be talking about what's happening organically. So normally you can see the lines across there, but it just wasn't showing up. But you can see it on the next one, because the other thing you want to do is look at people in your niche. You can actually follow posts from pages that you are watching. So you can add them, and then you can come in here and you can click across to top posts from pages you watch and see how it's got the engagement there, the little line. That's normally what you would see on your own post, but for some reason it wasn't coming up for me today. And you can see what's actually working for them. You can click on it has their top post for the week, and you can see how much engagement it got. So if that's what's working for people in your niche, you can look at either sharing that content if they're not a direct competition with you, or you could look at creating content like that, or finding more content like that. So it's a really good way to keep in touch there. The other thing you can look at is when your fans are online, but you're probably going to want to do a lot of posting first. So I would recommend starting to get a bit more consistent, posting bit more often, and then come back and look at when your fans are online and what they're actually engaging with, because that's going to give you a better indication. If you haven't been doing a lot, you're not going to have a lot to really look at here yet. So it's just a really good way to keep track of what is working and what you should do more of by looking at the insights. Okay. Oh, you can't see that. That should be black. It says what's hot on Facebook right now. So anything basically that keeps people on Facebook longer is what's hot on Facebook. Facebook want people to stay on Facebook as long as possible. So if you're creating content that sends people off Facebook, you probably want to look at creating content that keeps them there longer. Some of the things that are hot are Facebook Live video. Now, I actually thought that this was going to be quite scary to do, Facebook Live. I've been doing a lot of it, and I find it really quite easy, to be honest, for a few reasons. It's not much different than what I'm doing right now with you guys. You just start talking. People start commenting and you can chat back to them. while, if there's people that actually jump on and look at it, of course, while you're there. But the other great thing is it actually gets top priority in Facebook's newsfeed. So if you go live on video, it sends a message out to anyone that follows you regularly, of course, that you are live. So they get a notification and they can literally click on that and come and join you while you're talking. So it's like video times 100. You're literally broadcasting to your Facebook page, to your profile, to wherever. So it's also available in Facebook groups and also in Facebook events. So when we do our meetups and things, we always do a Facebook live feed into the event on Facebook for the people that didn't come. We give them a bit of a teaser and then they wish they came. No, I'm just kidding. But it's great because it actually gets it out there in the newsfeed and people start paying attention. So you can also do it in groups, as I said, which is really cool. So in the Down Under group, we could all literally get in there and use Facebook Live whenever we like and talk to each other. You can obviously use it on your personal profile as well, but your business page is definitely want to start using it on your business page if you want your page to get more reach. Now, the reason Facebook Live, I feel, this is my opinion, is favoured by Facebook is because obviously we've got Periscope and we've got Meerkat, if anyone's ever heard of that. There's a whole host of other live video streaming apps now, and it's taking traffic away from Facebook. So Facebook has their own version and they are going to want people to use it. They're going to want people to use it so that people stay on Facebook. So they're trying to keep their audience, obviously, from going onto those other things. Facebook groups are really hot on Facebook as well. We've got a couple of groups actually. We've got one public one for our meetup group, so we can keep that conversation that we start live happening like at the event. We can keep that conversation happening back in the group on Facebook. We also have one for our workshop for people that come along to the workshop so that they can continue building the relationships with the people that they meet, but also ask questions and things like that. The great thing about groups is that Facebook sends a notification, as you would know from being part of the Down Under group. They send you a notification when anything happens in the group. Of course, people can turn the notifications off, but essentially, unless they do that or think to do that, they're going to see what's happening in groups. So consider definitely putting a group together for your business page, because it's as good as having, in my opinion, an email list. If people go and join your group, you have the ability to send them content all the time. So you could post in there, your little lead magnets, your blog post with your lead magnets in them. When I say lead magnets, I mean like your landing page links and things like that. If you're creating good content and you're creating relationships in there, and then you post a blog post with a, landing page on it, they may just go and actually take up an app. So you can start building a community inside of a Facebook group of people that are interested in what you're talking about. So definitely Facebook groups. And another one that's just new is Facebook Notes, which is really, really cool. I've got a couple of slides if you're not sure what Facebook Notes is, just to show you what that looks like. If you haven't done Facebook Live before, this is what it looks like when you go to do it. So you just go to that first picture there, where it says publish. So just like you're going to do a post on your page or on your profile or in an event, wherever it is, it's only available obviously on your phone because it's a phone feature. So you go to publish and then it will come up just like a normal post, and down the bottom next to the camera and next in between the camera and the smiley face, you'll see the guy that has the Wi-Fi around his head. That is the Facebook Live button. So you click that. You can either type in there first, or you can click the button first, and then you'll see the next one where you can type a description for your video. Here's something I want to share with you. If you're scared about doing Facebook Live, and I'll ask you all in a minute if you're scared about doing Facebook Live, you can actually see where it says public. You can actually click on there and you can choose who sees the video. So you could go and choose one person that you want to do that video to, or send that video to. And you can just start practicing like that. You can even choose to only have you see it. So all those normal features that you have when you do a post apply to Facebook Live as well. So you could start getting used to doing live video for just a few people or just one person or just yourself. And when you're comfortable, then you can do a public one. So that's really, really cool. I can show it to you when we come off of the slides if you want to see how that works, but it's pretty self-explanatory when you go into it. The other thing you can do is if you do a live video and it's crap, you can delete it. Just like any other post. So if you do a live video and you're like, oh my God, I hope no one saw that, you can actually just delete the post just like you do any other post that you put up that you change your mind about. So it's not that scary, and it gets loads of reach, so you definitely want to take advantage of it. So just to end off on notes, this is our Facebook page, our business page. So you'll see in the timeline underneath liked, it says notes. It's a little extra tab that I've added there. So that's what it looks like when you add it to your page. And the way to add it to your page is you go into your settings. So that's up next to help. You go into the settings and you go to apps and you have to install the app. Now I've already installed it, so it just says, you know, that it's already installed, but it'll be underneath that tab down the bottom that says apps you may like. And you have to actually install it onto your page. It's not there automatically. So you install it onto your page and then you'll have to add it to the tabs. But if it's not there, you just go into the more button with the drop down box and you can put it in so it comes up higher and it shows. I've just got started using it literally this week, so I've only done one so far, but it is super, super cool. That's what it looks like when you come into the back there, and that's what it looks like when people open it. It literally is like having a blog on your Facebook page. Now, why do you think Facebook has done this? Because they want people to stay on Facebook. So now you literally have the opportunity to have a blog on your Facebook page. So you could share content over from your blog, literally just copy and paste it over into your notes and just bring all your content over. Obviously, it's not going to get traffic back to your website, but you could start the note and you can actually put in here in the, if you want, Robbie, I can screen share and actually go into Facebook and show you this.
Yeah.
But you can actually, do you want me to do that? Okay, hang on a second. Hang on a sec. Oh, thank you. That was my last thing. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. Well, when you go in, you can create a photo to put up the top. Now, if you want to write down the, and you can do this in Canva, just so you know, the pixels for a note picture for it to come up really nicely in there is 1220, I think, by 445. So that'll make it come up really, really nicely and fill that spot up the top there. If you don't have it sized the right size, it'll stretch it and it'll look really crap. So make sure that you size it right and it'll look really awesome. So has it come up yet?
No.
Still not?
No.
Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, basically, you just drag and...
Yeah, you can see where your mouse is moving around on the screen.
Oh.
And stuff, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh. Let me try again. Hang on.
Get it open and then do share screen.
Yeah, that's what I did. I'll just... How about now?
No, still the same.
No? Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, basically... when it comes up, you see, it looks like when you're doing a blog on your website. So you just click on the title and you just type the title in, and then you can, down the side, when you go to add text, it has a few different options. You can just type or you can do You can add an image or you can add a bulleted list. And after you start typing, it then gives you the option to add a link. So what you could do if you wanted to keep traffic going back to your website is you could start your blog and then have a read more link.
Yeah.
So if they want to finish reading it, they go and you link them back over to your blog. That's what I recommend.
Yeah.
But the great thing about Notes is that you can actually, people can actually comment directly underneath. So it's like it comes up really big in and really different in the newsfeed as well to everything else. So again, it's a new feature. So if you start using it, it's going to get more reach than, you know, some of the other things because it's a new feature on Facebook. So it's always good to be an early adopter and use the things that are available. But that's all I had prepared because I figured that people would maybe have some questions. But I hope that that kind of helps you guys a lot just to think about how to develop content that, you know, that people are going to obviously want to reach. I want to read, but also how to reuse it because that's the biggest thing is keeping enough content up to your page. If you're not doing enough consistently, then you're not going to get momentum. And momentum on Facebook is very, very elusive.
Yeah.
It's real, you know, it's hard to get and really easy to lose. So if you start doing a lot of posts and you start getting, you know, getting some engagement, then you stop. It's like starting all over again because people start paying attention to other things and then Facebook starts showing them those. So you need to continue to be there all the time. Terry, oh my gosh, there's a heap of questions in here.
So how often do you post?
I am posting at the moment about 3 to 4 times a day. And I'm finding that that's really good. The reason I'm getting a lot of traffic over on my Facebook page is because I'm doing a lot of stuff here on the ground. So I've got a lot of people who are following me on the coast. So I'm essentially a little bit like those local business owners that I talked about, where they find it a lot easier when we start showing this stuff to them. They get a lot of results quite quickly because they're actually interacting with their customers in person and then they're sending them over to their Facebook page. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas we, as SFM affiliates, we are trying to interact with people out there that have never met us before. So we have to do an extra good job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm getting quite good results because the people that are interacting with my page, I'm actually seeing them. So they're interacting with me.
You're getting the interaction beforehand, and because there's interaction happening on your page
Profile.
Facebook
Yeah.
rank you higher and show your content more.
Well, they're interacting with me more, so they're seeing my stuff more. Yeah.
But it also carries across to people that haven't seen you before.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Terry, what did you want to say, huh?
I just wanted to add, this week I've actually had my business page verified by Facebook. And
cool.
Yeah, you do that. It's pretty exciting. What they do is you can go through your settings and you get your page verified by Facebook, and to do that they have a requirement, like a list requirement of ways you can get that verified. I actually have a registered business, so I uploaded the PDF file for that, and in 3 business days they contacted me back and they verified it's a legitimate business page, and I now have a little tick, I don't know what they call it, but it's a little tiny tick next to the title there, and it's when you put your cursor across it, it's actually verifying that it's a legitimate page. So
awesome.
And what that does is get you better ranking on Facebook. So
yeah, cool.
So pretty happy to see that.
Very cool.
Just something.
So so you mean like you showed your business registration, yeah?
Yes, you
Yes.
it's that they have a list of options for you to upload, but I couldn't get the phone text message come through because of my phone is a private number, so I couldn't validate it that way. So I just basically uploaded a copy of my business registration, which is the tax ABN or whatever it was that they required, and yeah, within 3 days they sent me an email that had been verified, and it gave me a list of verifications that requirements that if you break those requirements, like any other page, you're going to get booted and they'll shut it down. They also said that it gets higher ranking, and they're happy to broadcast it out there at a higher ranking now because it's actually been verified. So that's,
Awesome.
that also helps too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, and
I think, yep.
Sorry, Megan.
No.
Also, if anyone's using the CEDA on their website, you can actually send that to your Facebook business page as well. I've got appointment scheduling and contact details on there, which basically take people back to my website scenario, and they engage with the website as well as Facebook. So I'm always interlooping with my social media areas. So they're sort of going around and around.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. I think Glenn had a question.
I do, yes. First of all, awesome webinar, so much value. Thank you very much for that. Really enjoyed
My
it.
pleasure. Awesome.
Yeah. I've got two very similar pages that are pretty much back to my niche that I want to focus on. And I believe you can join the pages together. Do you recommend that I do that?
Can you merge them?
Sorry, merge them, yeah.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, the one thing about having two pages, there has to be a really specific reason why you'd want to have your audience split. Like what are the two pages?
Well, I'm focusing on forward driving, fishing and camping is my niche.
Yeah.
And my business page that I've started, I've only got like 11 likes on there so far, whereas my other page that I've got just for fun, I've got over 3,000 likes on there. So I figured if I could merge them both, I can get my content out to a broader range of people. That was my thinking behind it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely would merge them because you're not going to, obviously, it's going to take you a while to bring those people over to your other page anyway.
Yeah.
And, you've already, the thing is, social media is social. So if you've already got a really social business page happening in that niche, it's not going to be very difficult for you to start slowly drip feeding some promotional content into those people. And if you do it in a social way through your articles and things like that, and if you use the notes, you can use the notes as a way to provide some value and then have a link at the bottom to an offer that you have. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
So I wouldn't go straight over there and merge them and then start promoting landing pages and stuff to them, obviously.
Yeah, I've got to do that before first.
Yeah, but you've already got that happening by the sound of it.
Yeah,
so
it's going pretty good. But there's not a lot of engagement though. I mean, they read my post and they comment on that, but I'm not getting a lot of posts from them about what they're sharing out, what they're seeing out in their passion. So, for example, four-wheel driving, they're not posting stuff on my page about that. They're just reading what I'm posting about it. So there's not a lot of engagement there yet, but I'll get there.
So one thing I would consider is maybe starting a group.
Yeah. Okay.
Because people tend to share that stuff in a group. And one thing that we're doing with our group, I'd show you, but for some reason it's not sharing the screen, but we actually have themed days in our group. So I don't know if you might be in some groups where you see that happening, but in the cover photo we have different days of the week. We share different things. So on Fridays it's Promo Friday. On Wednesday, Wednesday Winning or Winning Wednesday. Saturday shout out. So we do like referrals and things like that. and it just gets that conversation started. So you could do something like a group for that niche. That would be really easy to do. And you could, like photo of the week or, stuff like that in that group and just get them talking. You'll find that people will share more in a group than they will on page.
Okay, well, I'll definitely do that then.
But yeah, just have to think about maybe doing that, because groups are awesome. It's literally more social, and you're creating a community around an idea.
Yeah, cool, great. Thank you very much.
But on that disclaimer, you'll be the only one in there probably for a little while doing any
That's fine.
posting, and that's okay. It takes a little bit of time for people to start posting. We've had our group for about, probably this is the 3rd month now. We're getting some engagement, we're getting some stuff happening in there now. People are starting to engage with each other and they're starting to post more, but remembering that this group is actually a group that we're interacting with personally as well. So that's part of it. However, they were just in there liking my stuff at first, and now they're starting to share. But if you start a group, and even on your first Facebook page, I would recommend the live video stuff if you game.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the 90-day video challenge now, so I'm pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say comfortable, but I'm getting better at the camera, I guess. Yeah, I'll give it a crack. I'll try it once for sure and see how it works out.
And you can do live video in that group.
Yeah, I know. But I like being able to pause and edit my swear words out of it first.
No, be authentic, remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I'm always stuffing it up. I'm really bad at it, so it's good fun.
Megan, do you, on your business page, do you let your followers engage on your business page, or it's just comment? Do you let them post on there, on your business page, or is it just comments that they can put on there?
So I let them, it doesn't actually go into the feed, it goes over onto the side. So,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because essentially, like, what you want to think of your business profile, your business page is, it's like your advertisement for your business. So you want to be able to control what content goes on there to a degree, but you kind of, like, on the flip side of that, it still needs to, you almost need to treat it like your personal profile. When you're posting, you need to be thinking socially, social, not businessy and selly, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I have something. Oh.
Go.
Oh, yeah, right. I've got a couple of notes. The Facebook list, that's the one that's been hanging around for a couple of years but was only open to certain, right, okay. Because I actually qualified for that and didn't use it.
Facebook. What do you mean?
Facebook.
When you say it was only available to
businesses. Yeah, when it first came out. Facebook letters, Facebook, whatever it was. You've got your posts, your pages, your groups, and the letter, Facebook. You see on the graphics, it's a piece of pad with a line and lots of little lines.
Okay.
You don't know.
Yeah, I think we might be talking about something different. No, I was talking about you can actually group your your friends and the pages and things like that. You can set them in a list.
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
Don't worry.
That's
But
okay.
thank you for the times. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for the times to share, as in I've got like 6 months on one page. Mine it's about a week, all sorted out. And I'm just now starting to work backwards. Yeah. And a second lot of things, but I didn't know how often to post. So that is a lot of work. So what I've done is I felt guilty doing it, so now I feel terrific. I would write a very small intro to a post. Okay? something to share, something somebody else's, and then I'd copy that and go redo it and add some more to it, and 4 times later I'm thinking this is good. So it kind of went from that to that to that to that, and it got bigger and bigger, but I used different keywords always at the front and at the bottom, so it changed. What I've noticed is that they're starting to come back in, not so much on there, but I then moved them over to the Facebook group. So the last part was into that group. So number 5 use would be into the group. Okay, so what I'm now doing is going through on Aweber and backlinking everything back into the group, and then some other time going into the... So this is what it's all about, isn't it? Just constantly using everything to promote everything else and getting it going. Good, I'm on right.
No, that's right, because not everyone's going to see it the first time. So you can share it and reshare it and use it in all the different places.
I've been on SFM in the community. There's a Measurement Monday group. And of course when I write I blurb on, but so I go into the discussions or something and just put it there. I think I have about 16 of them now, and I'm noticing a difference in gradually the numbers are increasing, and every so often I've started adding videos in there and it shoots up 140%. I go, wow, that's good. Now let's have it. But I've noticed you've got to keep going on it, and of course with Mum going into hospital soon and all this other stuff, it's up and down like a yo-yo, but they're starting to interact, and that's what, 3 months, nearly 4 months of this, but that's starting to have a feedback.
Good.
So it's slow.
Yeah.
It's slow, but I've learnt to start crawling again before I start flying, because otherwise
I love
it's,
it.
yeah, you end up...
It's all about consistency at the end of the day. The more consistent you are, the more momentum you'll get. Like, that's what it comes down to. So it sounds like you're doing everything right.
Yeah, I worried for a sec because the time, what do you call it, daylight savings and everything. I thought, oh, how am I going to work? It's all automatic. It's brilliant. I love it. So,
Good.
yes, I'm like, yay. So, yeah.
Awesome. Did you already ask your question, Deb? Or?
No, I had a different question for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Hello, how are you?
This is awesome, because you know how I saw you doing the workshops in Australia, and I was like, damn, I really wish I could go to those. We'll get our own little private show.
Cool.
I wanted to ask you about Post Planner, or one of those. Do you use them, or would you?
I love Hootsuite.
Okay.
Absolutely love Hootsuite.
Yeah.
They're all different. They all have slightly different features. The reason I like Hootsuite is because a lot of the other apps that I use, I mean, I didn't go over to everything tonight. We'll be here for all day, but all night, I should say. But a lot of the apps that I use integrate back into Hootsuite. So you can actually manage everything inside that one dashboard. It's super cool. Yeah. And then you can obviously use it on your mobile and stuff like that as well. But it just, depends on what you want to do. Post Planner doesn't post out to as many platforms as Hootsuite either.
Okay.
Hootsuite just this week, they added YouTube. So you can upload to YouTube inside of Hootsuite. Super
Oh, really?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just keep adding more and more and more to it. Mind you, they have their tutorial videos called Hootsuite University. For that reason, it's like pretty full on. However, if you just use the basic features of it, it saves so much time. So much time. So Post Planner is good. One thing I do like about Post Planner is they have a section for viral content. So if you wanted to share something that's already viral, that's already getting a lot of views, it has a section in there where you can actually go and find content that's already really shared. So that's one feature that Post Planner has, but they're also similar. And Hootsuite's free. So they have a paid version, which is $30 a month. That's the one that I use.
Okay.
But they also have a free version. So it's good just to get, if you wanted to start a free account, see if you like it,
Yeah.
then you could upgrade, you know.
I actually got Post Planner ages ago and wasn't using it, and I was just looking at it this week again and said I must start using it, and so I thought it was a good opportunity to ask you. So it's not terrible, obviously.
No, not at all,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
A lot of the big guys use Post Planner. Like I know Murray Smith, Kim Girth,
Yeah.
Boom Social. She uses Post Planner.
Yeah.
But then you've got people like Amy Porterfield who'll use Edgar. Edgar's pretty expensive.
Right.
It's like $49 US a month, but it repurposes your content for you,
Right.
which
Okay.
is super awesome. However, I have a feeling that Hootsuite's going to catch up and start adding features like that to it, because they now have a section it's called Hootsuite Suggestions.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's been there for, but I've just started using it. And it suggests content to you. So you can put in different topics, like different keywords, and it will send you suggested topics, suggested content that you can just literally push schedule. It'll even pick a time for you based on, you know, other times that you post. It's super cool.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all preference.
Okay.
All preference.
I did have one other everybody might know this already, but just when you're talking about infographics, what's an infographic?
Infographic? That's okay. So an infographic is where you'll see, say you've got like the top 10 tips for something,
Yeah.
and it'll be displayed in like a big long picture like that with little diagrams and arrows, and you know, it's a way of sending your eyes on a journey, basically. Different way of absorbing the content. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I explain it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much for all of it. See you.
You're welcome. You can see Sandra popping in there in the chat box there. You're so funny.
Megan,
Yes.
where do you make an infographic?
Canva. Canva does everything. So Canva actually has they have templates in there as well.
Oh, right.
So you can click on the infographic template, and then when you go in there, it'll have templates which you can literally choose one and just swap out the colors and the content and the icons. You can get all the icons inside of Canva as well.
Thank you. I have looked and couldn't find it.
Yeah, I mean, you can make them on your computer as well. I think Sandra is saying in the chat box you can make them on PowerPoint or in Word as well. But yeah, I mean, I love Canva because if you've never done one before, if you don't know what they are, you know, it's right there. It's just a really good way to get started. So, yeah.
Yeah. I like following templates because you've got the sizings and you've got the, well, when you first start, you know, the feet are too big and the nose is out the back because of the picture or something like that, and you think, start again. But if you've got something to practice on and then go into the other parts, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Fab. So how's that, Robbie? Is anyone else going to ask anything?
Megan, with
Yeah.
your groups, do you add people to that yourself, or do you allow, like, do you have it open publicly or a closed group? How do you have that set up?
Great question. So I don't particularly like people that add me to groups. I think it's horrible because, you know, they should be able to choose whether they want to be part of the group. I just find, like, I've got this one person that just keeps adding me to this group all the time, and I'd cop out of it and he adds me back in literally like 5 minutes later. I'm like, really? I don't want to be in here. And I found a setting where you can stop them from doing that now, so you can't do it anymore. But anyway, so I think it depends on what type of group it is. So with the group that I was suggesting before to Glenn, I would recommend a public group. because you want people to be able to come across it and join it. But you set in the settings who, if you want to moderate it, like who comes in, you want to, you can say they've got to be approved, so you've got to approve them.
Yes.
I think that that's a good idea. It's a little bit time consuming, but because of some of the things that are going on Facebook at the moment with people setting up dodgy accounts and hacking, and like I've had a couple of people trying to join our group and they don't even have any friends. They haven't posted anything. It's literally like a Facebook, a profile picture, a cover photo, and no friends, and maybe one post. It's like,
Yeah.
and you want to be part of this group because I don't even know who you are. And they've got no information in their about section or anything. I don't add them because I don't want to give them access to anyone in there. I just think that as the owner of the group, I just want to be able to control that. But
Yeah.
it's up to you.
I've actually got 2 other groups that I do manage.
Yeah,
And they are closed groups because one's for family and the other one's for the livestock.
For sure.
And but is this group, does it have your group name or a different name as your business page, or?
Oh, good question. Yeah. So I have 2 groups. So that group is for the meetup. So it's called Business Owners Standing Out, because our meetup group on Meetup is called Business Owners Standing Out Gold Coast.
Right.
So it's the same. So it's just attached to that. Then we have another group which is for our workshops. So it's I've just drawn a blank. I can't remember the name. Anyway, Mega Media or something. But yeah, so it's for people who come along to the workshop, and it's a closed group. So that they can find it, but they can't join it. Like they have to have an invitation to join it. If that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, that's not right. They can find it and they can click join, but they can't see the content. So until they're in the group, they can't see the content. With the public group, they can see the content, but they can't post unless they're a member.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? With a secret group, they can't even find it on Facebook.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up when they try and find it and search or anything like that. They have to, send them the link.
Right.
Or you can add them by email address or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time, like every day without fail, whether I log on to my phone, which 9 times out of 10 is the more dominant one, or I log on the computer at the end of the day, I've got Facebook just cramming apps and and I just a little heads up. I don't know if anybody's aware of the new app that LinkedIn's now got available now too. So.
Which is available, sorry?
LinkedIn now has an app available as well, so to download on your phone as well.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's been available for a little while. It's fabulous.
Yeah,
really good, isn't it? Yeah.
Inundated with emails coming at me left, right and centre from Facebook and all the other social media areas that I wanted to download all these apps, and I just haven't got through them all because there's so many of them. And all these. Every time I open my business page, there's always something there. So Margaret Rapey and I, we get together and we just basically work through it and
cool.
Do a lot of
teamwork.
tweaking and adding.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know if I really don't know if her partner loves it, but because we spend it every day without fail, we're always on the phone doing some business work.
That's awesome.
I think we've been an hour and 3/4 now, so we might call it a night.
You're getting tired, Robbie.
I know,
I was
Robbie.
up at 4 o'clock this morning. On the
Oh,
wake
you're a
up call.
trooper.
I was on the wake-up call, and then I had a call with Brenda, and then I started work at 6. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day.
Work, isn't it?
But yeah, thanks for coming there, Megan, and it's been
My pleasure.
awesome having you.
Fantastic.
And we've got some interesting calls lined up in the next month or two.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
put a post on Facebook questions and answers next week, and then the week after it's Tony Everhart on NLP, and then there's a list of other things there as well. We've got support coming on as well at once.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I hope that was really helpful for you guys, and yeah,
Brilliant.
see you in Facebook, I'm sure, in the group. I want to see those Facebook live videos coming up all over the place.
I've thrown out a couple myself, so
Yes, I have seen them. Very cool.
yeah.
And, we'll get this recording up over the weekend.
No,
Cool.
fantastic. That was going to be a question of mine, Robbie, so thanks for that.
No problem. Have a nice evening and catch us next week.
Bye.
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 Really good webinar. Really